First, I want to say why I'm so proud and so happy that we have come together to Budapest, because all the people who were involved in the planning and the organization of this event, they know what a long way it was to organize this conference. It was very difficult. We had found a hotel and then they canceled our reservation and we had to go back to Field 1. So this was terrible and we had to start again. And at one day at Easter, we were near the point that we would nearly change the whole thing to Vienna or to Frankfurt, because I made the experience that dealing with Eastern Europe is another way of having business contacts. I don't want to get deeper into detail, but you can believe me, for me as a German living in Switzerland, this was quite an interesting experience. Okay, it was a long way, but nevertheless, we faced and we managed a lot and all difficulties. And but I must say that without the immense effort and help of the UAI, and I guess also with a lot of help of the Midwayers, we wouldn't finally made it. And for me, it's very important, first of all, to thank with all of my heart to Antonio Schäfer, who is sitting here. It's the one with the blue cap. Who had done a lot of hours for working for organizing this conference, and without him, it never would have been possible. We got also financial support, and for me, it's very important to mention also this. This whole event is sponsored by the UAI, by the Urantia Book Fellowship, by Lone Star, Urantia Association, by the Urantia Foundation, and also by Truth Books. Thanks a lot for the financial support of this event. I think it is a very important event for the Urantia book readers in Europe, because in contrary to the North American continent, we are often in some countries we are really just at the beginning. So we are pioneers. And in order to cooperate better, was some years ago created the so-called Blue Club. This is not a formal association. It has no president, it has no fees, it has no bylaws, it has nothing like this. It's only something total private. It is a come together of people from all over Europe, Western Europe, Eastern Europe, who come together in order to support one another and in order to help one another and in order to exchange the possibilities to spread the Urantia book. So this is the Blue Club, and we will have on Sunday morning a Blue Club meeting, and of course it's nothing secret, so this is open to all. So if you are curious about what this Blue Club makes and which plans it has for the future, you're very welcome. I want to say some words about the topic of this conference. Who is Jesus? And if you look around in the spiritual landscape of our society, of our Western society, you will find a lot of answers to this question, who is Jesus? He is Son of God, of course. For some people, he is only a master or a teacher, an avatar. He is an enlightened being. For other people, he is an alien from outer space. Perhaps he is the Messiah for many people. That won't be too bad if it is the case. So I think that we have to face the situation that Jesus is a kind of surface of projection for everything and anything. It's a kind of anything goes. And I think if we are looking into the spiritual and religious landscape, we make the experience that sometimes there are very confusing and also confused things people believe in when they are talking about Jesus. But for me as a Christian, my name is Christian, so I I am obliged to be one, if I want or not. For me as a Christian, of course, the question, who is Jesus, is one of the most important ones. Also in the current situation of Christianity. I think that Christianity, perhaps you have a total different opinion, so we can discuss about it later. I think that Christianity at the present situation faces three problems, and these problems are very difficult to deal with. The first problem is fundamentalism. Fundamentalism, also I'm talking especially about Christian fundamentalism, about a kind of reading the Bible as that everything is to be seen one-to-one, that God created the earth in 6 days, and that the dinosaurs played with the first man, and whatever they believe. I think if you are coming from a country with a strong evangelical movement, you know what I'm talking about, especially the Americans. I think they know what I'm talking about. But also there is, of course, especially here in Europe, we have also the challenge of Islam fundamentalism. And I think the big problem is we are always trying to be in a dialogue between Christians and Muslims. And I think one of the biggest problems is, from my experience with this dialogue, that we as Christians, I think we are not so capable to have this dialogue with the Muslims because many of us don't know what they believe in their own religion. And I think this is a great problem. I think you can only have a so-called inter-religious dialogue if you know your own religion. It is not a sense only to be tolerant towards Islam or Buddhism or something else if you don't know your own religion. And I think this is a great challenge. The other challenge we have to face, of course, especially in Western Europe, is secularism. The tendency that Christianity gets more and more private, that it has become difficult to talk about religion at the place where you are working, that you are considered as a narrow-minded person if you declare yourself to be religious. I think this is also a very dangerous situation for Christianity, and what is the most dangerous threat, I can only talk for Central or for Western Europe, of course, is that we as Christians, we have to face with the tendency that with all this Islamic terror, we have to see that Christians, no, I must tell it in another way, that if you are criticizing Islamic terror, that all religion now is under suspicion, and that religious people are seen as narrow-minded, as weird, as crazy, as irrational, and what else. So I think I think that the whole situation with this Islamic terror is a threat not only for Islam, of course, and for the living together of different religions, but it is also a danger for Christianity. So that means that facing all these challenges, I think we have to see that a religion that calls itself Christian has to find an answer to the question, who is Jesus? And I think, and that's the reason why we all are here, that the Urantia book offers interesting answers to these questions. So these, so far, my thoughts that I had traveling here to Budapest. And perhaps a conference is only so good as all the things around it. I have, for the last step of my welcome, some practical information. And the first practical information is